Today's session, obviously, if you think yesterday was good, you'll be blown away today. We have some wonderful speakers today, and we have not only did we hear from Ambassador yesterday, but today we get to hear from two ambassadors. Balozi Mulamula will be back to speak again, and with us, Balozi Amina Salum Ali from the AU will also be joining us. She's actually on her way from the airport, heading to this convention, and she'll be speaking to us sometime this afternoon. And so we're truly excited to have those. We will begin this morning with a representative from, slight change, I think I had Ambassador Mulamula going first, and then Kofi Anani from the bank. But Kofi Anani from the World Bank will go up first. The World Bank is a significant partner, not only in the Tanzania diaspora, but also in the diaspora globally. As I was talking, as we were communicating about the events, I did a quick search on some of the things that he's doing, and I hope he gets to expand on this. The Diaspora Fund Initiative, and he'll speak more on that, and there are plenty of opportunities. But without further ado, Karib Sana.
Good morning. Her Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On behalf of the World Bank, I would like to thank the organizers for reaching out and inviting us to be part of this event. I'm very honored to be here with you this morning to share with you some thoughts on our engagement with the diaspora, what we've done the past few years. This is not a keynote speech. What I intend to do is to share with you some of the things that we have done, the opportunities that we've created, the challenges that we encountered, as well as some of the lessons that could help boost your effort towards empowering the diaspora for socio-economic transformation in Africa. The World Bank formally established the African Diaspora Program in 2007 under the leadership of our former Vice President from Nigeria, Obi Ezekwesili, but also under the technical leadership of Beno Ndulu, which many of you will know. Before 2007, we had some experimentations supporting some specific diaspora initiatives, also under the leadership of Franny Lotier, who was the Vice President of World Bank Institute. So as you see, the genesis of the African Diaspora Program had some Tanzania bent to it from the beginning. The reasons for doing this are twofold. First, to help government to provide some structure to what you have been doing already. Most of you have been involved, as you said, made commitments to come here, do personal investment. You've been working through your hometown associations to support your communities back home. You've been through your professional associations. Most of you are professionals, professors, teachers, medical doctors, etc. You made donations, etc. So what we intend to do under the World Bank program was to help government to formalize and make such contributions and regularize these contributions so that there is some sort of precision and predictability when it comes to public policy making in various sectors so that we can induce diaspora contributions to development in Africa. So that was one reason. The other reason was to support the African Union to actualize its six-region ideals that the diaspora constitute outside Africa constitute in their sixth region. So we've been working with the African Union this past years to help them to do that as well. The main objectives of the ADB, African Diaspora Program, are first to help government to find ways to be able to help mobilize the skills, talents, and expertise of our professionals to support and augment delivery of services in various sectors, particularly health, education, and other sectors critical to growth and economic transformation. Secondly, to help the government to find ways to increase diaspora-led investments and financings, etc., through mechanisms by which you've been sending remittances, etc. There are various mechanisms by which the remittances could be leveraged for development purposes. We try to provide this through various instruments that we do. And thirdly, the third objective is to help governments create avenues and channels by which diaspora could participate and influence policies, public policies in various areas, engage in other areas, social enterprises, philanthropy, as well as volunteerism in all sectors of development to maximize development impact in Africa. And since 2000, so we've done this with various instruments, first by financing, providing grants, as well as through analytical work, technical assistance, policy dialogues and services, and partnerships. And since 2007, we've done several things. First and foremost, our first initiative was to support the African Union office, a mission in Washington. We provided a grant to support to build its institutional capacity in order to be able to carry out its mandate within the Northern Hemisphere. So I'm sure maybe with Ambassador Amina is around, she will attest to that we've done that as well. Secondly, we were able to use our convening power to mobilize resources with our European partners to organize diaspora, we call it the diaspora marketplace for the development marketplace for the African diaspora in Europe, which was a very competitive grant scheme that allowed us to be able to mobilize funds to support diaspora entrepreneurs who wanted to set up initiatives, private sector initiatives in Africa, in their home countries. So we provided funds to more than several of the people who participated and it was limited to diaspora in Europe, given that the funding came from European partners. And also, through the support of the government of Italy, we were able to support the Ethiopian medical professionals to be able to link them with their counterparts on the ground at Addis Ababa University to support teaching and providing instruction, etc., at Addis Ababa University, and also to augment the delivery of health services in Africa, in Ethiopia, and as well as in Africa, if possible. We did similar pilot as well in Ghana, where we supported graduate studies, social sciences, and similarly, and we engaged them with their counterparts. We linked them with their counterparts in terms of mentoring, supervision, graduate supervision, teaching, etc., through virtual and other means, short-term visitations, long-term return, etc. So these are various means by which the diaspora could be able to be mobilized to participate in this. And then we work also with our counterparts, especially in Europe, and with the AU, to set up establish the Africa Institute for Remittances. Kenya has been appointed as the host of this institute, which will be formalized early next year. All these are some of the mechanisms by which we think that we could engage the diaspora, help working with the government and the diaspora and all the other stakeholders in order to be able to increase their contribution to development. And then one other aspect that we provide analytical support is the Africa Diaspora Investment Fund. This is a private vehicle to channel equity investment to SMEs. As we know, 6 out of 10 jobs are created by SMEs. So we work closely with our private arm, the IFC, to provide the concept, to develop a concept by which equity investments can be made in SMEs, as well as leverage sovereign insurance and sovereign wealth funds, provide financing, infrastructure financing facilities, and also to engage and provide risk and mitigation measures using the instruments that MIGA, for instance, the one arm of the bank, could provide so that they could support such investment purposes. And the African Union has adopted this as one of its legacy projects. And so they've been given, or they've been empowered to be able to take this forward. And just recently, the bank has provided a capacity building support grant to the African Union, and this is one of the items that they've been mandated to implement. And in addition to ongoing support that we've been providing to the African Union. We also supported the Global Forum for Migration and Development process under the chair of the Mauritius last 2 or 3 years, and which led to development of initiatives, one of them called the African Accelerated Program for Economic Integration, which brings together a few countries which want to address issues related to integration, scale up regional solutions for integration, and also the Talent Mobility Program to facilitate the movement of people across African countries to increase intra-African trade. So these are measures that came out of our support to the GFMD process. And I mentioned about the recent grant we provided with AUC as well. And since 2011 onwards, this program has been mainstream. Mainstream means by identifying some of the projects that belong to our sectors and incorporate them into our sector activities. One area, for instance, if it's finance, we incorporated this initiative into the finance and private sector development activity. If it's in education, we have education sector programs to incorporate some of undertakings in these areas into this program. And one such opportunity through this mainstreaming is the recent support for the bank for with the Ministry of Education to set up several African centers of excellences to improve and to develop skills and improve skills that are very critical, that are lacking, and have become frustration to foreign investors, etc., as well as local investors, because critical skills in terms of science, technology, engineering, and math. So some of these African centers of excellence have been established in West Africa, about 19 of them through competitive grant to the ministry, some of the universities and the Ministry of Education. The one for Eastern and Southern Africa will be launched shortly, and I will highlight that as well as an opportunity by which we can be able to see how we can develop mechanisms by which to engage the diaspora directly in terms of providing quality support, as well as doing other things that need to boost the teaching of, especially of the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics in Africa. So in a nutshell, these are some of the things that we've done. But at the same time, we've noted the trends based on our interactions with the stakeholders, the diaspora, the government, the donors. I will not stand here and say that it has been smooth sailing, or we have been very successful in that. But we know the challenges still persist. There are certain trends that we noted. One is most of diaspora initiatives have been based on ad hoc measures. There has not been very much, not much coherent vision or regularized partnership between the various stakeholders that could make this opportunity to benefit our people back home. Unlike in other jurisdictions in Asia and in Latin America, there have been proactive engagement of these various stakeholders to put in place this mechanism to enable diaspora contributions have more or much impact on the development process in Africa. But we've noted these trends, but at the same time, we are hoping that through these interactions, we should be able to reinvigorate our efforts and enable the stakeholders to work closely together in order to be able to achieve these ideals and aims. So based on our interactions and our activities in other regions, we've been able to identify some of the distinguishing elements of very good practices that have enabled other countries or other jurisdictions to be able to marshal diaspora contributions more effectively than it has happened in Africa. One is the government ability, as you know, to have a very healthy economy, because if things are bad, nobody would like to invest there. You don't even want to go when there are conflict situations in your country. Nobody would like to go there. So a stable, healthy economy is one paramount element of enhancing diaspora contribution to development. And then a strong collaboration between the government, a network of diaspora-based and local counterpart organizations. That has also been one of the distinguishing elements. And then relevant laws and regulations in terms of policy, to provide policy incentives that will enable diaspora contributions in partnership with local organizations to work very well, because we know that in some countries, there have been business parks that have been provided, incentives in terms of interest-free loan, space for startup, etc., just as incentives to induce contributions from the counterpart. China, for instance, may not have been here without reliable contributions and active channeling of diaspora resources to its development. So is India, and also Brazil, Mexico, etc. They have put together in place a lot of these initiatives, mechanism by which to tap this regularly and with some precision and predictability in terms of mobilizing diaspora resources. And also structures at all levels of government, not only at the national level, but regional and local levels have been put in place in order to be able to aid and assist these contributions. So these are some of the elements that enable them to be able to do this. And one key factor also is an intermediary corporate entity to serve as a link between all these stakeholders. And I'll highlight some of the things that such a corporate entity could do and have been able to do in various jurisdictions in order to be able to harness this with some sort of precision. And so we always think about what constitutes some of the building blocks of an effective policy engagement framework that will enable us to be able to do this effectively and efficiently. I mentioned about a conducive policy environment and policy incentives that are critical to this, and then the schemes for attracting the talents, the expertise that we have. Several of you have expertise, talent, and if harnessed well, could help contribute to delivery of services, etc., in various ways. And then I mentioned about the investment fund. That is also a critical opportunity for us to think about, not only at the national level, but also at the regional level, that could be channeled and then work in collaboration with our counterparts, donor community, etc., in order to be able to channel this into development purposes. And then specific initiatives that the private sector and the banks could be able to do. We engage with the private sector, some of the banks, national banks, as well as the regional banks, EcoBank, etc., and they came up with very, very good suggestions and schemes that could enable us to concentrate and be able to develop these schemes and ensure that it promotes intra-African trade, which presents an opportunity, but we have not been able to utilize it. Trading between African countries have been maybe 1 or 2 or 3%, whereas in other jurisdictions, it has really been the mechanism by which they have transformed their various economies. So, based on all these things, we think there are some practices that are worth replicating in various, in Africa, based on the practices and based on the experiences that we've encountered in these areas. We think that first and foremost, it's very important to have that entity, which is maybe in the corporate manner, that serves as the link between the various stakeholders, between the government, between the diaspora, and the local counterparts and the donor community. Variants of this exist in other places. For instance, in Malaysia, we have the Talent Corp Malaysia. We have the Philippine Development Corporation. You have the Jewish Development Corporation. Similar corporate entities exist in Brazil, exist in Mexico, exist in India, etc., purposely for channeling these initiatives, which provides some sort of public-private partnership arrangement. First, such entity is able to provide intellectual leadership as well as policy advice in order to be able to inform the process of engaging the diaspora effectively. They are able to gather usable data, for instance, in terms of skills mapping and mobility of labor, and be able to channel such skills to very predictable or needed areas. For instance, you all heard about Ebola. We know about the Ebola situation right now. Through that, with such data, etc., you'll be able to tap on the expertise that are there, not only within the national diaspora, but also the involuntary diaspora that is global, because the diaspora has a global character, in order to be able to spearhead things of this nature and be able to augment the provision of care and the provision of equipment, etc. And so such a corporate entity who should be able to help design these schemes, whether in terms of skills, in terms of channeling financing and investment, and in terms of providing a platform for knowledge exchanges, which will inform our deliberations and our contributions, because it's always good to share information, etc. And one area that we've done this is to support several African governments to be able to develop engagement frameworks. But we know that not much has come out of that effort, but we need to be able to do more than that. So some of the key challenges that I would like to leave you over here is for consideration, which may also, whilst you are deliberating on your initiative, that may be able to guide your deliberations, as trying to shift or move the diaspora from ad hoc, sporadic, and tourist mentality processes to a more systematic and regularized process. This is a challenge. It's not something that can be overcome easily. If there are no structures that will enable provide that kind of support, when you get there, you have the intention to do something good, you get there and you are frustrated, you don't have any recourse to anybody, you can't approach anyone, you are not nothing is there to facilitate you. It makes it very, very, very difficult to be engaged, and even though, regardless of the intention, you may have the good intention, but you need a structure to be able to back you, to be able to do it. And also the anchor counterparts are very important, the local counterparts, local partners, your local organizations, your peers are very important in this process. And they must also be at the same level with you, because you set up things there, you have to work together in order to be able to sustain that momentum. Without the anchor counterpart participation, most diaspora interventions may not be sustainable. So there is a need to be able to find a mechanism by which we could work together with our local counterparts. And then also an appreciable compensation structure, because we try to build diaspora contribution on policy of volunteerism. But you cannot have an effective policy just based on volunteerism. You need to be able to find a way to be able to put in place a system that provides some form of support to enable to be able to channel such contributions effectively. this is what has been done in other places, as I said, but we are yet to have a system of that nature in Africa. And then the engagement has to be over a medium to long-term period. In order to be able to maximize the development impact, we need to be able to stay on course for some time, not 6 months or 1 year, etc. We need to be able to engage and stay on course for some time. And this is not something easily attainable. And it's a major challenge to see through the frustrations, you give up, etc., and pack up and go. But it has to continue for some time. And then technology, we need to be able to use technology effectively as well in order to be able to, because some of the contributions can be made virtually, and you don't have to be there physically to be able to do that. But at the same time, if you don't have the technological capabilities so that we can communicate effectively with your counterparts, it will not be possible. And then trying to maintain and sustain the momentum, that is also a critical challenge for some time. So I guess I will stop here, and then if there are questions or need for clarification, etc., I will be glad to do that. Thank you.
At this time, Balozi, the next 30 minutes are yours.
Good morning. Habari ya asubuhi. Natumaini mmelala salama kama mlilala. Karibuni tena kwenye session ya leo. I've been given 30 minutes. Maybe I don't need it because also listening from the World Bank representative, I think he has summarized the key issues and many of the takeaways. But I'm here, we thought let's engage a bit. I know most of you are still skeptical about the role of embassies. But I want to assure you that the Tanzania embassy in Washington is like a corporate embassy. We are here to serve you, and if I was a politician, I would say that the Tanzania community is my constituency. And if I get votes, that's where I would go. The Chief Secretary put it very well yesterday, and this is our task. The policies are clear. The commitment of the government is very clear at all levels. The embassy role is to implement. We have our tasks laid out for us, but then we have been trying through a number of years to make our embassies relevant. For those who know, the thrust of our new foreign policy, it's not about champagnes and wine glasses. It's about economic diplomacy. The diaspora, as explained from yesterday and this morning, and especially the DICOTA, for Tanzania Embassy, we take DICOTA as the economic wing. I was listening to the interview, radio interview, when one of the candidates for the presidential post, Nigula, he explained it very well on what DICOTA is all about. It helped me also. But what struck me, he said it in Swahili. He said DICOTA is mwamvuli mkubwa, meaning a big umbrella. Kofi, Anna, you spoke about having hard work, maybe in terms of event, in terms of structures, in terms of interventions. We are here because we have this important structure that was put in place, and thanks to our chief secretary when he was the ambassador in Washington, working with the Tanzania diaspora. He said, let's get away with the ad hoc way of doing things. Let's have sustainable way of engaging the diaspora. So for us, as the embassy, we took this very seriously. I know for those who are in DMV, with our politics in DMV, they always say, hey, balozi mama kila kitu upo. Mbona mama na kielele sana? I want to assure you kwamba this is more than a job. I have a passion. I have a passion in the capability and the critical mass of the Tanzanians here. We can do it, and we have proved so far that we have done it. I not want to appear as a politician, but let me tell you, on everyday basis, I have my staff here. There is Mr. Abbas Misana, who anamuita maarufu. Maarufu in both ways, sometimes both positive and negative. I know he has had a lot of beatings through the blogs, but then you see, even his size, he carries a lot for you, on your behalf. Yesterday, there were questions about the deceased, that it takes months before you get documents. But I must say, the big challenge you get is our diaspora, and this is what Kofi Annan said. Let's use the available technology to do things in a modern way. Let's communicate. Let's share information. Because I remember the last time in Houston, one of our Tanzania fellow passed on, but then our colleagues decided to, of course, for whatever reasons, they took the body to a funeral home that knew nothing about transporting bodies in Africa. So that took a long time for them to understand that they have to go through to get this document, they have to get things certified and so forth. So there were a lot of complaints. But again, this is what I'm saying, let's do things in a modern way. Mnafanya tusifanye mambo ya kizamani. I was saying, naambia wenzangu, sorry, I'm not offending anybody. Lakini nasema DMV, yani tuko wa shamba, inafanya mambo kinyume. Kwenye networking like this, some of the takeaway, na then to talk up the best practices. Best practice of doing things. Kwa kweli, we need to move on. Maana mimi najua hapa slogan, move on. Let's move on. Inafanya na kazi yetu kama embassy inakuwa ni rahisi. Kama hivi katika kuandaa, when we planned, we organized this, it's not the perfect, but that's how teamwork is all about. How collectively together we can do things, we can make a difference. Kwa hiyo, I appeal to you, kwamba jamani, tusiondoke hapa ikawa just tulikuwa convention, and then we stay for another convention. Kuanzia sasa, we're taking many takeaways. But then Lunda said this morning, people have invested their time, they have invested their money. We have had partners. In fact, Honorable Shebej, you should also be here, because this is part of extension of the embassy. The United States is so big, it's like a continent. And we have only one embassy based in DC to cover, to know what is going on in Illinois, what is going on in Arizona. Yesterday, one of our CCM cadres coordinator, he was in Kansas, Wichita, and she calls me desperately, Ambassador, I need to talk to you. I said, what has happened in Kansas? He says, no, because you have not been seen in Kansas. They want you here. And Wichita. But then, you know, as I said again, this is like a continent. I've just been here 1 year. And so far, I've been just like going like sampling. I've been to the West. I've been to the Midwest. I've been to the South. I've been to the North. Somebody, when they heard I've been in Nebraska, I said, hey, balozi hata umaa upo. Lakini sijakava hata quarter. But then, when we meet like this, wakati Runda anasoma nikamwambia kumbe hata Alabama ninao hapa. Maybe I don't have to be physically everywhere. Lakini gathering kama hizi zinatusaidia. And thanks again, as I said, and I mean it, that our embassies, since the time of Balozi Sefue, we're trying to organize ourselves to work like tuko katika nchi zilizoendelea. And thanks to Abdul Majid, jamani, use his service. He has trained us in customer service. Unajua, there are things we take for granted that we know it all. Hata tuambia nini. But I told my staff, no. Wote mnakuwepo, you have to attend this. Baada ya hapo, kila mtu kwa roho yake, aise kumbe mimi ndio na tatizo. Yani, because what he was telling us, and it was not him, he had his team, it touched on everybody. That, kumbe I can do better. Kwa kweli, mimi nataka na nyinyi mtumie those services. We have a group of Tanzanian who heads the Kilimanjaro. This is Grayson Kiondo. Grayson Kiondo has excellent services. He trained our Tanzania public service. He brings very senior public service servants from Tanzania to train them here. But I don't know any one of you if he has used that service. They are good. If you want to be able to upscale your image, how to reach out to most influential people, how to reach out to the media, this is Kiondo Company. They are based in DMV, but doing great work. But what struck me, they have formed a company on petrol, gas, feed services. Yani nawaambia hatujui kitu. Everybody is getting excited about this discovery, I guess. Expectations are high, but then they know how to moderate our expectations by just giving you the basic facts and knowledge. Kwa hiyo nasema tuna critical mass of the diaspora. Na tunaomba, maybe this is the last one. One of the takeaway from this DICOTA, let's have a data bank. A data bank to know who is doing what. Every time when I engage the World Bank, yesterday you had the U.S. development agencies here. They say, Ambassador, you're very passionate about diaspora. But who do you have? Who are the Tanzania diaspora? In what field? I don't know, wako wengi. Wako wengi. Sasa, we need seriously, and we spoke with the DICOTA leadership. We need that data. Na tumeambiwa, you can't make an informed decision without data. Kwa hiyo, let's have that data. Kuna wengine, they are very strong in something. I don't need to know the PhDs and what. Kuna wengine wako very, strong katika mobilization of resources, katika social mobilization. Lakini wote tuwajue jamani, it doesn't take long. Tumeweka website sasa. We have a good website. It's not the perfect, but then you can register. Na ukiregister wengine wanaogopa wao tutakamatwa hatuna makaratasi. No. We don't share this information with anybody. Tumeweka dedicated server just to store your information. Kwa kweli msiignore. Kuna wengine wanaenda kwenye website, what they look at is, unajua Kiingereza sio kizuri. It's not about the English. It's about the content we are giving, but also we are giving you a tool. A tool ya kuweza communicate with the embassy, but also give us the critical information. Tunataka hizi links za wote mnazofanya. We are linked to the embassy. I don't have to travel to Kansas if I have the information. Na nikienda hiyo ni for purpose, it's not as a tourist. Na tunaomba wote jamani, because in all the states, we've been trying to get everybody to be organized in the communities. The Chief Secretary said it very well. DICOTA is not replacing the communities. And it is not either all. Mimi ni DICOTA, mimi ni community. It is one and the same, except DICOTA ni economic wing. Kwa hiyo hayo malumbano tuionayo huko kwetu jamani. Jana Kurwa, Dr. Kurwa alikuwa anasema, oh, ambassador, we can do it much better. Next time tutakuwa na watu wengi. Nikamwambia it's not about watu wengi. It's about the commitment, passion of this. Maana sisi tumependaga nani, balozi mambo yalikuwa mazuri, very good. We had so many people, hundreds. And then baada ya hapo take away ilikuwa nini? Tunapenda jamborees. Lakini ukiwa na quality representation, this is what we are seeking. Kwa mfano wakubwa wa mabenki wako hapa, muone Sangiri anavyosikiliza. They are very serious. Yani hizi ndio quality tunazotaka. Kuna hapa nimeambiwa Flaviana, you are here. Flaviana, please, can you stand? This is our Miss Universe, Miss Tanzania. But she's not here because of her beauty. She's a goodwill ambassador of the Tanzania Public Service Pension Fund. Can you imagine Matata na pension fund? But then, because she's our ambassador, to be able to sell this, get the diaspora to sign into these facilities that are available back home. Kwa hiyo mimi nasema mwisho nitamwachia huyu, nasema huyu anabeba mengi. Is going to tell you exactly in short what kind of services. Yesterday, the immigration, I think you helped us to clear most of the things, the citizenship. Niona wengine hata wengine wanasinzia. Amkeni jamani, wapo hapa. Mwenye shida tumalize hapa. Msirudi balozi Mlamula, mbona hujatuambia kusize? Wapo wenyewe. Immigration wapo. And stop beating this one so much, beat them. Asanteni sana. Ni karibu.
Thank you, His Excellency Ambassador Mulamula. Ladies and gentlemen, let me allude from what Ambassador Mulamula said about the culture, style, and the way how we are working at the embassy. For those who are coming from Tanzania, it is true that we are working as a corporate and in the corporate world, because the service in the United States, service delivering mechanism is a commodity. It is bought and sold. So you need to sell it at the best quality ever. You can motivate anybody to come and buy your product. But we cannot say that step has been taken from our own initiative. I heard yesterday everybody was trying to give his or her testimony from the way how he went through here in the United States. I cannot ever forget the contribution, the mentoring, and the philosophy about the service delivering which we have learned from Ambassador Sefue. From the first day he knocked in the office, we had a meeting. He said, "You guys, I have one disease, and I have to declare that disease in front of you. I'm workaholic." I shall never forget that word. And secondly, he mentioned to us, you guys need to change. We are in the United States. We have to follow the system followed by the majority of people here in the United States. So it is either you follow or you go home. And thirdly, he said, you better change in all way which you need to be changed. In terms of mentality, in terms of the way how you conduct yourself, in terms of the way how you are delivering service, in terms of the equipment, methodology, and the way how we operate from the day-to-day activities. For those who were here in the United States earlier than me, you can testify that before we had only one system of making the payment when you seek any service to the embassy. He is the one who said that, no, we cannot go in this way. If a person wants to pay through credit card, let him pay. What's the problem? If a person wants to pay with a check, let him pay with a check. What's the problem? And I can assure you, we are now going to launch online system of making payment, because even now we see that we have absorbed the whole method of making the payment from the service which we are delivering to the embassy. I know that we are running short of time. Let me try to ask Tanzanian fellow to know your responsibility and your right here in the United States. Most of us, we may not be aware of our rights, but we may not be aware of our obligation as well. So I have decided to take just 2 items to show you what the government has determined to do for you. But in return, you need to know your obligation, what you need to be at least fair to the government, so that we may have the give and take at the end of the day. Sawa jamani? Your Excellency, with your permission, I may switch the language to be at least in Kiswahili a little bit, and sometimes I may mix here and there to make you understood my message. Jamani, hii passport, kitu cha kwanza kuhusu passport. Kuna ujumbe mzito sana ndani ya passport hizi za Tanzania. Ujumbe huu unapatikana peji ya kwanza na peji ya mwisho ya passport. Kwenye peji ya kwanza, kama mtu yeyote ana passport hapa anaweza kasoma. Ninayo kopi ya passport. Inasema this is to request and require, in the name of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, all those to whom it may concern, to allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. Inawezekana mtu unabeba passport kila siku, lakini huelewi ile passport kwamba unaibeba kwa jina la Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Hii maana yake nini? Whenever you are going, wherever you are, you need to be a good citizen. because it is all about the image of the country. Wherever you go and wherever you are, try as much to follow the laws of the receiving state to your maximum level. Ninafahamu kabisa haya matatizo ya makaratasi na matatizo mengine, lakini baadhi ya matatizo tunayoyafanya hapa hayana uhusiano wowote na karatasi. Kweli si kweli? Kweli. And also, as a good citizen, you have to respect the government. You need to respect the government. You need to respect the government. Na nikisema you need to respect the government, I don't have any other interpretation but the way how you conduct yourself wherever you are, it may mean a lot to the government. Kwa sababu sometimes tunalazimika kueleza, tunalazimika kuprotect, lakini kitu chenyewe unachoambiwa uprotect ni unprotected. The second message, it says, the passport remains the property of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania and may be withdrawn at any time. It is a valuable document and it should not be altered in any way or allowed to pass into the possession of an authorized person. If lost or destroyed, the fact and circumstances should immediately be reported to the local police and to the nearest office of immigration or foreign mission of the United Republic of Tanzania. New passport can only be issued in such cases after exhaustive inquiries. Sasa tusigombane bure unapokuja pale, mbona mna taratibu ndefu, mbona tuko Marekani, mbona hatueleweki, lakini umesoma haya? Hii maana yake nini? Maana yake ni kwamba the passport should be properly kept, and if it happens that there is any loss of the passport, you need to report to the appropriate authority just immediately. Lakini kesi zinazokumbana nazo, mtu ananiambia mimi sina passport, alafu nimepigiwa simu kwamba natakiwa kuondoka kesho. Sasa unamwambia sawa, hii passport umepoteza lini? Kama miaka 3 hivi iliyopita. Yaani wewe unapoteza passport miaka 3, lakini kwangu mimi inakuwa sasa ndio emergency yako hii. Yaani nivae viatu vyako sasa hivi kwa passport ambayo umepoteza miaka 3 na wala hukuona umuhimu wowote wa kusema passport imepotea na kunifanya mimi nielewe kwamba passport imepotea nikuelekeze. Sasa tunapopigania haki, lakini ni katiba ya Jamhuri ambayo inaweka haki na wajibu. Passport sasa hivi inatawaliwa na sheria. The Passport and Travel Document Act of 2002. Passport and Travel Document Regulation of 2004. I am just a custodian of those procedures. I am not there to violate. Some of the people wanasema yule bwana ana masheria mengi sana. It's not me, kwa sababu sheria ipo. Ni kwamba sisi ama kwa kujua au kwa kutojua au kwa uzembe hatutaki kusoma hizo sheria, hatutaki kuzielewa na hatutaki kuzifuata. Sasa bila kupoteza muda, nadhani kwa wale watakao kuwa wana nafasi, nina mengi ya kueleza kuhusiana na swala la passport. Kuna watu wanakaa hapa miaka 20, wanakaa miaka 30, because it is the passport which connects you and your country. It is the passport which connects you and your government. Usiseme kwamba mimi sihitaji passport. Mtu hahitaji passport kama yuko Tanzania, kwa sababu Tanzania ni nchi yako, Sasa unahitaji passport ya nini? Unahitaji passport kwa ajili ya kusafiri, kama if you want to go somewhere else. Lakini the passport are crossing the international frontier, the meaning of being a travel document only change. In addition to a travel document, it remains also the identity and the connection between you and your country. It is also the connection between you and your government. Ile allegiance ambayo unasikia kila siku tunapiga kelele, allegiance yako inapimwa kwa namna ulivyo stay connected. Na the third component, mbali na hii caution, ni kujiandikisha. Balozi nafikiri amezungumza vizuri sana kuhusiana na kujiandikisha, lakini kwenye passport yako imeelezwa peji ya mwisho kabisa ya passport inasema raia wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania wanaoishi nchi za nje wanashauriwa kujiandikisha majina na anwani zao mapema iwezekanavyo katika ofisi ya ubalozi wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania iliyo karibu. Kama hakuna ofisi hiyo, wajiandikishe katika ofisi ya ubalozi wa Uingereza. Ofisi hizo lazima ziarifiwe mabadiliko yoyote kama vile anwani au uhamaji kutoka katika nchi hiyo kwenda nchi nyingine. Kukosa kujiandikisha kunaweza kuzuia au kuchelewesha msaada na ulinzi ambao raia wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania anastahili kupata ikiwa kutatokea misukosuko au shida yoyote. Ni mara ngapi vimbunga vimetokea katika nchi hii? Ni mara ngapi majanga yametokea katika nchi hii? Balozi ananiuliza, tuna Watanzania wangapi huko? Sasa Watanzania wenyewe hata kufika na kujiandikisha, hata kujitambulisha, kusema niko hapa, niko pale, tumekuwa wazito wa kiasi hicho. Lakini nchi imeshaweka utaratibu kwamba unapojiandikisha unaifanya serikali ielewe kwamba wewe upo. Sio katika sensi hiyo unayofikiria wewe, ni katika sensi nyingine kabisa, kama itatokea disaster. Na njia moja ni ya kuhakikisha kwamba kila unapokuwepo hapa unakuwa na passport ambayo ni valid. Sio unakuja kwangu na passport ambayo imekwisha 25 years ago, 15 years ago, na wewe unajua kabisa kwamba ile it's not a valid passport, it's not even identity, it's not even nothing. Kwa sababu kama yametokea machafuko, labda kuna vita, kuna nini, na serikali ya Tanzania imeamua kuweka ndege, na unaambiwa kwamba wanaotakiwa kupanda ndege hii ni Watanzania wote walioko Marekani, unategemea mimi nitamuelewa Mtanzania kwa kumtizama sura? Wewe ni Mtanzania, pita. Wewe sio Mtanzania, kaa huko. Kitu pekee kitakachonisaidia ni passport yako. Sasa tunapoulizana habari ya passport, mtu anasema unajua mimi passport wasishughuliki kwa sababu mimi sisafiri. Passport, aliyekwambia kwamba kazi ya passport ukiwa nje ni kusafiri peke yake ni nani huyo? Passport ndio utambulisho wako wewe na utaifa wako. Moja ya sababu iliyochelewesha kuondoka kwa maiti ya kijana wa Kitanzania aliyechukua uraia wa Marekani, to give you the story, ni kwamba baada ya kuchukua uraia wa Marekani, passport yake ya Tanzania ilichomwa. Niliogopa sana kurudia, yani kueleza story hii jana, kwa sababu nadhani labda mood za watu zingebadilika. Lakini unapochoma passport, bahati nzuri hakuchoma yeye, alichoma wale aliowakabidhi ili na wao waikabidhi kwenye mamlaka zinazohusika, na tulichukua hatua. Na sisi tukasema kama walichoma passport yetu, sawa, basi sisi tutaripoti yote haya katika authority ya Marekani inayohusika. Wakisharidhika, tutafanya utaratibu wa kiserikali wa kuhakikisha kwamba mwili huo unasafirishwa kwenda Tanzania. Lakini the worst case scenario ilikuwa ni hiyo ya kutopatikana pasipoti yake ya Tanzania, kwa sababu tulichohitaji ni kumtambua. Sasa in the absence of passport, nielezeni ndugu zangu, unamtambuaje mtu kwamba huyu ni Mtanzania? Kwa sababu kuna watu wana sentiment, wana emotions, wanakuja juu, wanasema bwana wewe vipi, mbona matatizo, mbona hivi, mbona hivi. Huyu ni Mtanzania bwana, ni Mtanzania. Sisi tunakueleza sio hivyo. Kwa hivyo unapotunza ile passport, ninakuhakikishia kabisa kwamba iko siku passport hiyo itakusaidia, ama kwa kupenda au kwa kutopenda, itakusaidia. Baada ya kusema hayo, naomba nieleze tu kwamba serikali ya Tanzania imeweka utaratibu maalum kwenye ofisi zote za ubalozi kuwahudumia Watanzania under so many different exceptions. Service inauzwa ubalozini kwa sababu tuko Marekani, lakini kwa raia yoyote wa Tanzania aliyechukua passport ya Marekani akija kuomba visa, first of all, visa hiyo ataipata siku hiyo hiyo. Na hii haimaanishi kama tulivyokuwa tunafikiria zamani kwamba ni lazima nimfahamu mimi sana, sijui ni lazima nimfahamu mtu balozini. No. It's a government policy, it is there. So naomba kutumia mkutano huu kutangaza rasmi kwamba you don't have to say kwamba unajua balozi wa Tanzania lazima watakuwa wamekaa Kiswahili sijui nini, utapeleka mwisho passport itapotea. Hatupotezi passport. Na for your information, katika nchi ambayo inaongoza sasa hivi duniani kwa kupeleka watalii wengi sana Tanzania ni Marekani. Baada ya kuyasema hayo, kwa kuwa muda hautoshi na huduma zetu ni nyingi, shukuru sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Okay, wakati Idi akiwa anakuja hapa tulisema nitaendelea na theme ya Bisana kwa kuongea kwa Kiswahili. Idi, naomba usogee wakati nikiwa na Abdul, sorry. I'm looking at Idi talking to Abdul. Ili swala la passport unasema balozi Bisana ni kweli kabisa. Mimi nakumbuka nikiwa Wichita wakati balozi Sefu alivyokuepo, na sisi tulipata msiba wa Mtanzania ambaye alifariki. Na kwa bahati mbaya yule Mtanzania apartment yake iliungua moto. Kwa hiyo ilivyoungua na passport yake pia ikasafa katika zile damages. Lakini kipindi hicho tulipiga simu balozini, tukaongea na balozi, wakatueleza taratibu, na ninavyosema kweli kusafirisha maiti ni very complicated. Kuna mpaka specifications za jeneza. Unajua. Kwa hiyo unapo deal na mortuary ambayo imezoea kitu, wanaelewa. Wakatuambia jeneza inabidi liwe hivi kwa sababu kila nchi ina specs zake. Tukafuatilia jeneza, tukaongea nao, wakatuelekeza. Sisi tulibahatika within 8 days mwenzetu akawa yuko kwenye ndege anaenda nyumbani. Kwa hiyo inawezekana. Cha muhimu ni kujua taratibu. Idi, karibu.
It's okay.
I told you I haven't slept yet.
Good morning. I'm not in the program, but as you know me, I never pass a chance to get a free lunch, so I'll take this. So I'm going to spend the next 278 seconds to share a quick story with you. My name is Abdul Majid. I'm based in the Golden State of California in the city of Los Angeles. I work for Dow Jones and Companies, the publisher of the Wall Street Journal. Recently, I opened a company called the Trans American Company. And the purpose of that company, I'm going to share with you very quickly. 4 years ago, I was on a trip to Tanzania with the VIP safaris. And after the safari, I landed in Dar es Salaam. I wanted to get some Tanzanian meals. As you know, the spinach in Tanzania is organic. So I ended up in a little restaurant called Chef Pride in the Kisutu area. I ordered the spinach. After a few minutes, the young man brought me the spinach. I got the spinach.